camera never catches my face like that. That's terrifying. I'm just gonna go make sure this starts, because for some reason it doesn't start on my computer, and that's okay. And it still does not exist yet. We will try one more time. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Technology is like so tricky sometimes, but it gave us sewing machines and it gave us automatic buttonholers, which are a beautiful thing, and I'm going to show you tonight. This is the last step of the Austin dress. This dress has a lot of buttons, like a lot of buttons, and they are not necessarily, like, you're not undoing them every time you're getting in the dress. They are a design feature of this dress, and you could absolutely skip over doing the buttonholes and just sew your buttons on. So the buttonholes get sewn to the front of the dress, and what you would do is, that's the back of the dress. Line up your dress, line up where your buttonhole was supposed to be, and instead of doing a buttonhole, you could just sew through both layers, and it means it would never come undone. Because of the front keyhole, this here is really where you're getting, make sure you can see that. This here is really where you're getting in and out of the dress. So, but you know, it's good practice to do the buttonholes. I wanted to show everyone. So I've done them on one side. And what is important with anything, any feature like this on a garment, is consistency. So are your buttonholes consistently centered? You can see mine are actually slightly off, and no one's really going to notice. For the most part, they are about a 1/4 inch away from the side and a 1/4 inch away from this other seam here. I can, you know, pop my seam gauge out if we really want to see. So they're a 1/4 inch there and about a 1/4 inch there. Now, how you line this up, and someone taught me this. I think this trick would work best. These are horizontal buttonholes, because the most stress will be going side to side on this part. This trick actually works best for vertical buttonholes. So if you were doing them, say, on like the fringe dress, the Cali shirt, any sort of button down shirt. But I still liked using this trick because it was I have low vision, and anytime I can really highlight something for me to see, it's helpful. And that's using 1/4 inch seam tape. So I've got mine individually, but if we were doing this, all you would do is run a line of seam tape, you know, like so, like that, and you're going to line up against this red line, and it means your buttonholes are going to be straight, and I think that's really amazing. But for these ones, we are still going to use that horizontal line. It's going to mean that they're not going to be, they're going to be very centered and very consistent. And I've got a pin marking that 1/4 inch. So that's where I'm going to line up my button foot. All button foots look roughly like this. Some will have more or fewer markings. You can see mine has these 3 red hash marks. This is the FAF Ambition 620, and I'm going to use those to line up. So I'm going to line them up with that red mark and with that pin, and that's going to be the start of my button foot. But to apply this, I did these ones, I'll show you. There's a gauge piece that comes with this pattern. You don't need to use this. You could use the buttonhole gauge. Catherine's demonstrated that in another video, which I will make sure is linked at the end of this video. And I'll also link Bee's tutorial on how to sew your buttons on, because that's important. So I've got a little piece of seam tape. I'm using this as my line. I'll do this one first. And then I'm just going like this. And you're literally going to sew on top of it. It's just washi tape. That was a little too long. That's okay. Not throwing that on the floor. And then another one. Like I said, I thought this trick, I did this with my fringe dress when I taught the class. That's where I learned it from a student there. And I was like, oh my God, my mind is like totally blown. And then I'm going to take a couple of pins. I'm going to take my gauge here, and I'm just going to poke a pin in to mark out where I want to start that buttonhole. And I'll demonstrate. We'll do, you know, 1 or 2 so that everybody can see nicely. This is not straight. And the nice stuff about this too, start not putting a pin in my mouth like the previous videos where I said don't put pins in your mouth. It is repositionable. So if you're not happy with the position, like it doesn't look straight to you, then you can reposition it. And this is a quilter's tool for sewing half square triangles and quarter square triangles, and I think it's really, really brilliant. It's a little high actually. I think my gauge shifted. I want this to come down a little bit more. You know, and as you get more experienced, you learn how to eyeball stuff too. Because, you know, I was looking at that and going, yeah, that's not quite a 1/4 inch. But anyways, I'm going to snap the foot onto my machine. And I'm all set up here for my buttonhole. And I'm going to get you guys to come along with me. No, we're not going to put this on because it doesn't want to work. Why aren't you working? Pain in the buttonhole. It did not just make that joke. I'm not that funny. There we go. Okay. Buttonhole foot is on. Dress is coming over here. You folks are coming with me. And as much as possible, try to keep your garments, all garments, from like not being on the table. Because the weight of them drags down. So you can see I'm lining up with that. This little red line here is lining up with the red line on the seam tape, and then my pin is lined up with this line here. And with this buttonhole foot, I'm going to take the pin out because we don't want that. And then it's, ooh, I poked myself. Make sure your fabric is not bunched up, and it's all just one. It helps when I push the right pedal. I have my serger set up too, and I was pushing my serger pedal, and I'm like, why isn't it going? I love this machine because it cuts for me afterwards. And, you know, if you're not happy with how this looks, buttonholes are a bit of a pain in the ass to take out, but you can absolutely seam rip this if you need to. We'll do one more. So again, I'm lining up on that red line. The pin is on that, the red line and the red line of the tape are lined up together, and then the pin is lined up with that horizontal line, and we just keep going. did not mean to do that. And you can see this first one's a little bit high compared to this one. I'm probably going to rip this out and redo it just because of how it was, where it was started. I think I started it too high. And again, that's okay. That is literally what a seam ripper is made for. I'm going to take the camera away from my lovely assistant and I'm going to flip it around to my face. And that is it. Thank you, lovely assistant. Who's in the background there. And we're going to do this. And I'm going to do my like crouchy down thing. That's it. That is how you do the buttonholes on this dress. It's a little bit laborious and tedious, but it is, I think it's a really lovely design feature. I'm really excited to use this 1/4 inch seam tape trick on vertical button plackets. I think we'll do a separate video with that because it's just such a great idea. And yeah, things to consider if you've had to make any sort of adjustments to like the length of your bodice or take out significant length on this dress, you are going to need to adjust your buttonholes. I would not follow, unless you, even if you take out the same amount of like inches. Oh, the pins are really bad with pins. Even if you take out the same amount of inches on the addition, like the button guide piece, what will happen is you will end up with unevenly spaced buttonholes. So it's best at that point, if you're going to do it, to use the button gauge. So like I said, I'll link all those videos at the end. Thank you so much for sewing along with me. I know there hasn't been as many people watching this live. I hope everybody watches it on the rerun. We will monitor comments. Sorry, my face is so red. I was outside. It's so hot today. I'm dying. I'm looking at comments. No one's commenting anything. That's okay. Yes, it is. This has been a pleasure. I hope to see lots of Austin dresses in the store. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you had fun along the way. And we'll see you at the next one. Bye, everybody. Okay, oh my God.